Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be playing with some makeup. I've got some new stuff that I wanna test out with you all on camera. We've got a palette from Hourglass. I just picked this up today, very excited about that. We have eyeshadow palettes from LA Girl. I've got some lippies. We have the new Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen. So if you would like to see how I created this look I'm wearing right now, you'd like to hear my thoughts on all these products, hang tight, because we're about to get into it. I don't know what is going on with these little baby hairs here today, but they have a life of their own, so we're just going to ignore that. So I've got my base done. I'm wearing the Tarte Found Sealer today, actually. I've kind of been on a kick of using this over the last couple of weeks. It's a really nice product, and I like that it has some sunscreen in it. And then I went in with my good old Tarte Shape Tape on the under eyes and set everything down with the Zoeva Authentic Skin finishing powder. Also really loving that. Needless to say, I'm now looking pretty flat, pretty one note, so we definitely need to add some color back into this face. So I think I want to get started with brows because mine are looking pretty undefined right now. They need a little bit of love. And I have a very exciting new brow product to show you guys. Now I have been using this for a while. This is definitely not a first impression, and I am really enjoying this. It's the new Brow Microfilling Pen from Benefit. I know quite a few people have been curious about this. It's one of those little tri-pronged liquid brow pens that's supposed to give your brows like a microbladed effect. Now here's the thing. I 100% would not call the effect this gives microbladed, but I do like the finish. I find this gives a really natural appearance to the brows, especially in the front of the brow, which is something I struggle with, having dark hair and fine hair. A lot of deeper brow pencils and brow products can be a little too harsh. They make my brows look a little overly filled in. So this to me was like a bit of a breath of fresh air. Now there's no spoolie on this product, which is a little bit of a downside in my opinion. So I'm just gonna go in with one that I have in this little dual-ended brow brush just to kind of groom my brow hairs into place so I can kind of see like the shape that I'm working with. And then I basically am gonna go in and make little hair-like strokes, and I am orienting the pen so the three little prongs kind of are going in the direction that my hairs naturally grow in. And I just keep making those short little strokes until everything looks a little less sparse. And it's one of those things that it both looks like it's not doing anything and yet it is. Like I can't see the product in my brows the way that I can with a pencil, but my brows definitely look more filled in than they did before. So it's kind of weirdly magic. I'm actually really into it. And then I'll just keep going through the midsection of the brow. And I will take a little of this into the tail, but I find in the tail of the brow, I do still need a pencil for a little extra definition because the tail of my brow is so sparse, and that's really just a me thing. I think if you had more defined brows, you probably could get away with just using this product. But yeah, I feel like it adds just like a little bit of tint, but it's not too much. It's very natural. Once it dries down, it's also pretty long wearing. I really actually like this a lot. I think I like it better actually than the Urban Decay Brow Blade, just because I think the shade match on this is better for me. I have a deep brown in this, and I got dark drapes in the Urban Decay, and that one was just a little too warm. I didn't like the way that it looked. It wasn't as natural as this is. So now I'm gonna go in with my Precisely My Brow in the shade 4.5, and I'm just going to touch up the tail just a little bit to add just a little more definition because I like the way that that looks, and I can blend things out with the spoolie. And there you go. Brows are done. And I really like the way they look. I feel like they're defined and they're filled in. They definitely help my face have a little more framing without looking too heavy on a natural. The only thing I will say is that I feel like I can get very similar results with the Gimme Brow as far as creating a natural kind of soft fill in the front of my brow. So I kind of have been using these interchangeably and, you know, still go in with the Precisely My Brow to kind of do some final finishing work. So ultimately, I think it's going to come down to preference and how long this lasts, because Gimme Brow, I feel like it takes me a really long time to go through one of these tubes. If this dries out really quickly, I think I would prefer the Gimme Brow over purchasing this, but that is something that will have to come down the road when I've had this in my collection a little bit longer. So moving on to the rest of my face, I have something really exciting to play with. I just picked this up today. I ordered it online from Nordstrom and then went and did curbside pickup. It was really super convenient. They brought it right out to my car. It took like 2 seconds. So good job, Nordstrom, on that. Really nice customer service. And the product I picked up is this beauty right here. It's the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette in Diffused Edit. And this is a Nordstrom exclusive product. So here's the thing. If you guys have been watching my videos lately, you'll know that I've mentioned wanting to pick up an Hourglass palette. And I was strongly considering picking up their new Ambient Lighting Edit for holiday 2020. But after watching several reviews, I really wasn't that impressed with it, and it's very, very expensive at $80, and I just kind of felt like maybe it wasn't the best investment for me. And I had remembered seeing this Nordstrom exclusive palette somewhere, so I decided to do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research, and I decided this would probably be the better palette for me to invest in. It's $64, so still quite, you know, a pricey product, but a little bit less expensive than the holiday palette. And the pans that come inside of this guy are bigger, like significantly bigger actually, than the pans in the holiday palette, which these are still pretty small. So that just kind of gives you some perspective on how tiny the pans are in the holiday palette. Each of these is around 0.1 ounces. And the holiday pans, I think, were like 0.04 ounces, so about half the size of these. And doing a little bit more research on top of that, when you look at how much product is in the little mini compacts that you can buy of the ambient lighting powders, these are bigger pans even than those mini sizes. So I feel like you are getting a lot more bang for your buck buying this trio than you are buying 3 mini-sized palettes. Obviously, you're not getting anywhere near as much bang for your buck as you would if you were to buy any of these shades in full size, because the full-size pans are like 10 grams of product, like way, way more than what's in here. But if you are looking to kind of sample multiple products, you don't want to commit to a full size, these trio palettes seem to be a much better value than some of the other larger palettes. Now, the 3 products that are in this palette are the Diffused Light Ambient Lighting Powder. Then you have the Ambient Lighting Strobe Blush in Euphoric Fusion. And then you have the bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light. And another reason why I decided this was the right palette for me is that Diffused Light was the ambient lighting powder that spoke most to me. So having it in this palette kind of, you know, that was an automatic win. And then Diffused Light is the powder that's kind of blended into these other 2 products. This blush looked beautiful. The Ambient Bronze Light, I know a lot of people like, and that's in all the other palettes, and that was probably the bronzer I was most likely to want to try. So this to me just made sense. No, there's not a highlight in here, but I'm actually not too mad about that because I have plenty of highlights. And I just think this is a great way to sample like a full face worth of products. So I'm really jazzed. I'm really ready to put this on my face and see what it's like. Now, looking at this palette, the only thing I will say I'm a little worried about is that my bronzer doesn't seem to have a lot of bronzer in it. It seems to have a lot more marbling with the lighter ambient powder shade. If you guys aren't aware, these ambient powders from Hourglass, they're baked products. They're made in Italy, very bougie. And each one of them is kind of unique. Like, you're gonna get a unique marbling in every single pan. No 2 are going to be exactly the same, which could be a good or a bad thing. Long story short, here's to hoping this bronzer shows up on my skin and that I like the finish. So I'm just gonna start by going right in with a little angled brush, and we'll put this on the cheeks and see how things go. I've heard nothing but good things about Hourglass powders, and I have tried the ambient powder formula before, but it's been a really long time. I had another one of these little trios, but it was just 3 of the ambient lighting powders, and I did like it, but I don't think I fully appreciated it at the time, just because my level of makeup knowledge isn't what it is now. But yeah, they are supposed to just be really silky and beautiful on the skin, just supposed to give you a really lovely soft focus effect. So that's what I'm hoping we're gonna get with this palette. I've never tried the blush or bronzer formula before, so it's always fun to play with something new. Speaking of which, let's take a look now that I've put some of this on and see what I think. It definitely is showing up, so that's nice. I'm getting a nice kind of warm glow all over my skin. This does have luminosity to it, but it's not overly shimmery. I feel like this is giving me a finish similar to the Kosas Sun Show bronzer that I'm really into. Has that kind of same warm, sheeny, glowing from within kind of vibe to it. Very pretty. Yeah, it doesn't look powdery on the skin at all. It's not looking patchy to what I can see. It doesn't look like it's enhancing texture in any way. I think that's really pretty. So next, let's go into this Euphoric Fusion Strobe Lighting Blush. This has kind of a mauvey purple tone. Definitely looks like it's picking up a fair amount of pigment. So I'm gonna just kind of put on a little and see how that looks before I go crazy with it. I like the shade a lot. And that definitely, I feel like, is true to the strobe light name. Like, this is a very glowy blush. I definitely feel like I don't need highlight actually with this, for the reason to not care that there's not a highlight in this palette, because I feel like the bronzer and the blush all by themselves have quite a bit of reflect, and extra highlight might even honestly be a little bit of overkill. What do you guys think? Do we like it? I think it looks really pretty. I like this color a lot, and I feel like it's gonna be really good for fall because it has that sort of more mauvey, berry-ish vibe to it. Yeah, so far, 2 out of 2. I'm definitely digging this. So finally, we have the diffused light ambient lighting powder. I'm gonna take this small tapered powder brush. I'm just gonna tap into here, and I'm gonna see how this looks in the under eye area. I didn't really set this down with a lot of powder, so I'm kind of curious to see, does this brighten? Does this blur? Like, what does this do for me? All right, so if anything, I feel like that kind of darkened up my under eye area a little bit, or at least that's how it looks in person. It might just be because my under eyes weren't entirely set before. I don't know how to feel about this. Let's try applying a little bit to my pore area. Let's see. Maybe take a little up here in the center of the face. I kind of envisioned using this shade sort of as like a final buffer over my other products to kind of blend everything together. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not really sure that I feel like that did anything. Like, maybe it made my skin look a little bit more airbrushed, but if it did, it was very minimal. The Zoeva powder that I used before, I feel like already does a pretty decent job of making your skin look pretty flawless, so I guess there wasn't really a lot of room for improvement. So yeah, gonna need to experiment a little more with diffused light and see how I feel about that, but the blush and the bronzer, I think, is absolutely stunning in here. All right, so let's move on to eyes. I am so excited to finally be cracking into these LA Girl palettes. I've had them for what feels like a month at least now, and I wanted to wait until I could use them on camera, and I just have not had a chance to film something yet. So finally, we are getting to one of these. And these are the Break Free eyeshadow palettes. They are 16 pan eyeshadow palettes that I think retail for under $20. I know they are on sale right now at Ulta for like $11.99, which is insane. These are absolutely huge pans, and these shadows perform so beautifully. I've tried several of other palettes from LA Girl in this format, and I've really enjoyed all of them. So I am jazzed to have some new ones to play with. I think I want to use the pink purple one today, but there is also this warm neutral one. It has very like Urban Decay Naked Honey / Naked Heat kind of vibes. So this one I think I'm gonna save for another day. We got a little bit of pink going on in my floral hoodie today, so I just figured why not go with some pink vibes. Plus I think this will go nicely with the mauvey purple blush that I just put on. So just to give you guys some context, why don't we do some swatching so you can see what these shadows are like. I'm looking at this really pretty kind of light, dusty, rosy mauve here. Maybe this really cool looking sparkle. Oh, I wanna swatch that. Let's see, what else can we grab? Maybe this brighter pink. I just feel like the mattes in here are usually very smooth. Oh, look at that shimmer. Gorgeous. Like, for a drugstore eyeshadow palette, I feel like these usually perform really, really nicely. I think the hardest part of using this is gonna be figuring out what the heck I wanna do, because there are so many beautiful shades. Just like, look at that. Stunning. There are so many things I wanna do with this palette right now, but as per the usual, we're gonna wing it. I think I'm gonna start by going into this dusty, mauvey, rosy shade first on a little crease brush. And we'll just start slowly buffing this into the crease as a transition. See how that kind of goes. I haven't done a halo eye in a while, so I may do that. And as expected, this is going on so nicely. This is just a light wash of color, and that's really all that I want to start out, but I feel like it's layering up nicely, and it's not patchy. It's not, you know, blending away into nothingness and just dusting right off the eyes. Like, we're just getting that nice sort of sheer watercolory light wash, which I'm into. All right, so now that I got the wash down, I think I'm gonna go into, maybe this pinky kind of purple shade here on a smaller crease brush. This is a Luxie small tapered blending brush. Gonna put this in the inner and outer corners of the eye to create the dimension for the halo eye. Yeah, beautiful. So easy. Honestly, I think what's going to be the hardest thing about this is deciding what shimmers I want to use, because they all look so stunning. And I'm just going to take this brush, go back in with that first shade we used, and I'm just going to buff onto the lower lash line just to tie everything together real quick. And I'll make sure all my edges are blended with the first brush. So there's a lot of ways I want to go with this right now, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this beautiful like mauvey metallic. I'm going to put this with the finger directly into the center of the lid. Now, I'm not using a tacky base. I just kind of want to show you how this will look with nothing, but I think a glitter primer will probably help with fallout if you're going to be wearing a look with this palette all day long, just because some of these textures, like this one in particular, are a little on the flaky side. Like, super, super reflective, but definitely have the potential to give you some fallout. And then I want to take this really cool duochrome shade. Like, this is just so stunning, and it's kind of more of a topper. And I'm just going to pat that like in the very, very center, just as a little accent, a little highlight. Ooh, Yeah, so pretty. And then I'm gonna go back in with my small crease. Gonna just kind of tap the edges to intensify those again. I think I actually may also pick up just a little bit of the shade next to it, which is a little bit darker, just to pat a little on the very, very outer corner to really give this look that extra dimension and structure. I need a pencil brush. Yes, okay. Grabbed a pencil brush, and then for an inner corner highlight, what do I want to do? Maybe this like icy lavender shade? That could be kind of fun. Let's see what you look like. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh, this palette's giving me like all of the whimsical fairy vibes. I'm into it. All right, so here is what the shadow is looking all by itself. Super, super pretty. I'm into it, but I definitely feel like this is gonna need some like liner and lashes to really make the look feel complete. So let me go ahead and put that on, and then I will meet you guys back here to finish things up with some lips. All right, so liner and lashes are on. I went for some pretty big dramatic lashes. I do kind of feel like they cover up a little bit of the really pretty purple eyeshadow that I just applied. But at this point, I'm not taking them off, so we're just gonna roll with it. So to finish off the look, I've got some new lip products to play with. I've got a little cocktail that will hopefully look nice together. So I decided to pick up one of these new matte lipsticks from Juvia's Place along with the new Maybelline Lifter Gloss. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I was really curious to give it a go. I know people have been saying these are dupes for the Fenty Gloss Bombs, so we'll see if that's the case. And then because I enjoyed this LA Girl Perfect Precision lip liner in Sugar and Spice so much, I decided to pick up another one. So I got the shade Flesh, which is a lighter nude, and I think this will go with the lipstick and gloss that I picked out. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the lipstick. So I got the shade In Vogue. First of all, let me put the cap back on. This packaging, so stinking cute. I love the peach to pink ombre with a little gold detailing. The plastic doesn't feel the most high-end, but I think it's definitely still pretty, and for the price point, I'm not mad at it. And then this is the shade. It's this really pretty warm peachy nude color. I'm really into this kind of color, and it does have a scent. It's got that kind of strong vanilla frosting type vibe going on, and the bullet's got an interesting shape. It's almost like a little bit pointed at the top, kind of triangular, so that's neat. Let's give this a swatch, see what it looks like. Ooh, feels very, very creamy and super smooth. I think it's going to be a really comfortable matte formula when applied to the lips. And then here is the shade Flesh in the lip liner. Oh, did I do a good job or what? That is like perfect. If you guys don't know, these lip liners are like $3 and they're amazing. I'm really into them. And then the Lifter Gloss, this is infused with hyaluronic acid, so it's supposed to make your lips look extra plumped and nourished. I got this in the shade Amber, which is a like cream finish shade. It doesn't have any sparkle in it. And yeah, looks like a perfect little nudie peachy pink palette there. This also has a pretty strong scent, but I would mark this more as like a coconut kind of tropical scent than a vanilla scent. I like it though, it smells pretty yummy. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips, and then we'll fill it in with the lipstick, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. All right, so as far as the feel of the lipstick, it seems like it's a pretty lightweight formula. If you put on a lot, it's gonna have that silicone-y kind of thick feel to it, but you don't really need to. It's a pretty opaque formula all on its own, so I don't feel like you have to layer on a ton to get full color on your lips. And for a matte finish lip product, it definitely has good slip to it, doesn't feel overly drying. I think it is enhancing the texture of my lips like a little bit. It's not the most smoothing, but it's not the worst either. I'm not, you know, getting very wrinkly, crinkly, shriveled up looking lips either. I'll be curious to see how this wears, just because it doesn't feel like it's gonna set down. I have a feeling that it's gonna transfer off fairly easily. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Now let's go in with a little of this lifter gloss to top things off. This has a really big doe foot applicator, very similar again to the Fenty Gloss Bombs. And that has a really nice texture to it. Very, very creamy, glides on, very luscious. This does honestly have a high-end feel to it. I feel like the packaging has like good weight to it. It looks kind of sleek. It's definitely, I think, a step up for drugstore. Like, you can tell it's a drugstore product from just like a little bit of the aesthetic of it, but really, like, this feels very nice. And the shine this gives is beautiful too. Like, my lips definitely look pretty juicy right now, I would say. I'm not sure how I feel about the pairing of this lip with this eye. I just really liked these colors and I wanted to test them out. I might do something a little more warm than this purple eye the next time I wear this lip, but I'm not mad at it for what it is. So there you have it. Here is my completed final look. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Are any of the products on my face right now really speaking to you? Do you think any of them look particularly nice, particularly bad? Leave me all your thoughts in the comments down below. And on that note, let me zoom you guys out so we can wrap things up. So let's do a quick little recap of the new stuff that's on my face right now. First, we had the Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen. This is really nice. I feel like it gives a very soft, natural, not too filled in look to the front of the brow. Not the best for like really precise filling in, especially if you want a more defined brow. So like I said, I do still need to use this with a pencil, but as someone that struggles with not having my brows look too blocky, I feel like this is really, really nice to have on hand. We'll just have to see whether or not this dries out really fast. Then there's this little Hourglass palette. I am really pleased with the way my cheeks are looking. I feel like my skin looks beautiful. It's very smooth. It's very glowy. It's got color, but it's still somewhat natural. So considering the fact that I spent $64 on this palette, I'm glad that I like the way that it looks. I'm definitely happy that I decided to buy this palette over the $80 Holiday Edit palette, just because I feel like this is something I actually will reach for on a daily basis. The pans are a decent enough size. You're getting a better value. I'm definitely going to have to experiment a little bit more with this ambient lighting powder just to kind of see how I can use it, because I feel like, well, now that this makeup has been sitting on my skin for a while, I feel like the area around my nose where I applied this powder and in my under eye does look pretty decent. So maybe it is extra perfecting and beautiful. I don't know. I'm going to have to play with it, see what I think about it, because on first impression, it didn't really stand out. But the bronzer and the blush, super beautiful, really into it. The eyeshadow palette from LA Girl, I feel like for the price, is such a steal. You're getting so many beautiful shades in here. This was really, really easy to work with. This eye look came together super quickly, and I'm definitely looking forward to creating some other pinky purpley looks and seeing what I can come up with. Obviously, this color story is fairly monochromatic. If you don't like pink and purple, this is not going to be the palette for you. But if you're into these shades, I think you are not going to be disappointed in the quality for the amount of money that you're spending. And then there's a little lip combo that I'm wearing. These LA Girl lip liners, incredible. You can't beat them for under $3. Like, they are so good. Highly recommend. The lipstick, I think, is a really pretty color. It felt nice going on. I liked the application, but I'm definitely going to have to wear test this by itself without the gloss and give you guys an update. And the gloss, now that this has been on my mouth and I've been talking for a while, I definitely am feeling it start to like collect in the corners of my mouth. I noticed some transfer of lip product onto my teeth. So that's kind of not the best. It's definitely very hydrating, definitely very juicy and glossy looking on the lips. Like, I think this is a stunning color. I'm really into it, but I'm not sure now that it's been on for a little while how I feel about the texture and the way that it's feeling on my lips. Like, it's just slightly uncomfortable in kind of that greasy way. So I'll keep you guys posted. We'll see how, you know, it wears over the next couple of hours. And yeah, on that note, I think that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed seeing me test out these products, I hope you will consider giving this video a thumbs up. I always appreciate your support so much. And if you're new, I hope you will consider clicking that subscribe button before you go. That way yours truly will show up in your subscription feed and we can hang out together again in the future. I do a monthly series called The Beauty Report where I update you on products I've been testing out for the past month. So these products will definitely be in that series if you want to get a follow-up review on them in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.